My best friend, let's call him Marco, is a genius. Not the kind who quotes Shakespeare, but the kind who can spot a loophole in a system faster than you can say Whopper. Our local Burger King was running a promotion, scratch and win, with guaranteed prizes on every burger purchase. We were both broke college students and the allure of free food was strong, but Marco, ever the pragmatist, saw something more. This, he declared, eyes gleaming, is our ticket to burger paradise. Now, I'm not a gambler, but Marco's enthusiasm was infectious. He explained his theory: the scratch cards had to follow a pattern. With enough data, we could crack the code and predict the winning cards. It sounded crazy, but Marco had a way of making the impossible seem plausible. We spent weeks meticulously collecting discarded scratch cards from unsuspecting Burger King patrons, painstakingly recording the codes and their corresponding prizes. Our dorm room looked like a scene out of A Beautiful Mind, covered in scribbled numbers and diagrams. Fueled by cheap coffee and ramen noodles, we pored over the data, searching for patterns, for the key to unlock Burger King's generosity. It felt like we were cracking a secret code, like something out of a spy movie. And slowly, the fog began to clear. A pattern emerged, faint but undeniable. We had found it, the Achilles heel of Burger King's foolproof promotion. The scratch cards, we discovered, weren't random. They were printed in batches, each batch following a predetermined sequence of prizes. With enough data points, we could predict the winning cards with a surprisingly high degree of accuracy. We were like modern-day Robin Hoods, except instead of stealing from the rich, we were liberating burgers from the clutches of a multinational fast food corporation. Our plan was simple: visit different Burger King locations, observe the discarded cards, and then purchase meals with cards that we knew would be winners. It was a delicate dance, a careful balance of observation, deduction, and acting like normal, hungry college students. We were acutely aware of the potential consequences of our scheme. Getting caught could mean expulsion or worse. But the allure of endless burgers and the thrill of outsmarting a system designed to be unbeatable was too much to resist. The first few attempts were nerve-wracking. We'd identify a winning card, purchase a meal, and then hold our breath as we scratched off the silver film. Each time the familiar "you win" message appeared, and a wave of relief mingled with elation washed over us. We were on a roll, our system working flawlessly. We were swimming in free burgers, fries, and sodas, living the dream of every broke college student. Word of our burger bounty spread quickly through the dorms. Soon we were supplying free meals to a small army of hungry students, all sworn to secrecy. We became legends, whispered about in hushed tones, the Robin Hoods of burgers. Our operation, which we christened Operation Burger Bonanza, was in full swing. We were like a well-oiled machine, efficiently identifying winning cards, collecting our bounty, and distributing it to our grateful comrades. But success, as they say, breeds complacency. We grew bolder, our targets more ambitious. We set our sights on the grand prize, a year's supply of free Whoppers. The stakes were higher, the risks greater, but the potential reward was irresistible. We knew the manager of our local Burger King was a stickler for rules, a man who believed in the sanctity of corporate promotions. He was our nemesis, the final boss we had to defeat to achieve ultimate victory. We planned our attack carefully, studying Mr. Henderson's routines, learning his weaknesses. We knew he took his lunch break at precisely 1 p.m., leaving the cashiers to handle the lunchtime rush. This was our window of opportunity. Section 4. The Man in the Polyester Suit. The day of the heist arrived. We entered the Burger King, hearts pounding, our eyes scanning for Mr. Henderson. He was nowhere to be seen. The coast was clear. We joined the queue, trying to appear nonchalant, our pockets stuffed with strategically chosen scratch cards. The cashier, a pimply teenager with a bored expression, barely glanced at us as we placed our order. As we waited for our food, we noticed a figure approaching. It was Mr. Henderson, back from his lunch break, his polyester suit shimmering under the fluorescent lights. He looked at us, a flicker of suspicion in his eyes. He must have noticed our frequent visits, our unusual ordering patterns. This was it, the moment of truth. We exchanged nervous glances. Our carefully constructed house of cards was about to collapse. Mr. Henderson stopped in front of us, his gaze piercing. "You boys," he growled, "seem to be winning a lot of prizes lately. Lucky you." He smiled, a thin, humorless smile. We gulped, our mouths suddenly dry. We had been caught. Section 5, a mountain of burgers. Mr. Henderson leaned closer, his voice low and menacing. Let's see those cards, he demanded, his hand outstretched. We froze, our minds racing. Should we run? Should we confess? Slowly, reluctantly, we handed over our stack of scratch cards. Mr. Henderson examined them, his eyes narrowed. He scrutinized each card, comparing them to a list he pulled from his pocket. We watched, our hearts sinking as he tallied up our winnings. A tense silence hung in the air. We braced ourselves for the inevitable accusations, the lecture on fair play and corporate responsibility. But then, something unexpected happened. Mr. Henderson's stern expression softened. He looked up from the cards, a hint of amusement in his eyes. He chuckled, a deep, rumbling chuckle that seemed to shake his entire frame. "Well, boys," he said, "you've certainly figured out my little system. I must admit I'm impressed. You've got guts, I'll give you that." He handed the cards back to us, a wry smile playing on his lips. "Go on," he said. "Claim your prize. You've earned it." Section 6, the sweet smell of victory. We stumbled out of the Burger King, our arms laden with burgers, our heads spinning. We had won. We had outsmarted the system, and even Mr. Henderson, the guardian of corporate integrity, had conceded defeat. We feasted like kings that day, our victory made all the sweeter by the unexpected turn of events. Mr. Henderson, despite his initial suspicions, had shown a surprising sense of humor, even a grudging admiration for our audacity. Operation Burger Bonanza was a resounding success. We had achieved our goal, securing a year's supply of Whoppers and cementing our status as campus legends. But more importantly, we had learned a valuable lesson, that even the most seemingly impenetrable systems have their flaws, and that with a little ingenuity, a little bit of luck, and a healthy dose of audacity, even the most unlikely of victories can be achieved. And as we savored the juicy, flame-broiled goodness of our hard-earned spoils, we couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction, a sense of triumph over the predictable, the mundane, the everyday. We had tasted victory, and it tasted a lot like a Whopper,